As I sit in my office on the first Monday back to work after my week off, I look at the picture on my desk of all the office girls. The old saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words is true. This picture speaks volumes. It speaks of love, trust, fun, and of a dream come true. A smile comes across my face as I remember that week, and knowing that underneath my suit I am still wearing a camisole, panties, and hose, and that my toenails are still painted red. I feel the clothing on my still smooth body. I am still clinging to the experience of being a working woman. My walk into the reality of being one of the girls started just after Thanksgiving. On the weekend after Thanksgiving, I went to the small office we own and put up the Christmas tree in the lobby. The office consists of Lisa, Cindy, Charlene, and I. The following Monday we made Christmas wish list for the Christmas tree and we finished decorating the office. At lunchtime my wife Heather stopped in to join us. She saw the wish list on the Christmas tree and laughed at Charlene's wish list. On it was a supply of pantyhose. Heather went up to Charlene and asked Charlene, "Why is a supply of pantyhose on your list?" Charlene said, "Every time I wear a dress or skirt, I always seem to snag my hose. I keep extra pairs in my car, desk, and purse. I thought Santa could bring me a supply of them." Heather spoke up. "Men are so lucky. They just put a suit on and do not have to worry about the things women do. They do not worry if their outfit matches hose and do not have to put up with their makeup fresh." Heather looked at me and then in front of everyone said, "Dave should experience what we go through. Our office will go to a variety of clients' location and train on different safety issues. In order to provide the proper representation of our office, I insist that everyone dress professionally. Many times, the women will wear dresses or skirts." Charlene, Cindy, and Lisa jumped right in on this conversation, agreeing how lucky I had it. I did not have to wear hose or heels at work, did not have to worry about makeup, or endure the restrictions of the clothing. Heather looked at me and just smiled. At that moment we shared a very special glance into a very private part of our lives. You see, I am a crossdresser. I cannot remember a time when I was not. Before we were married, I told Heather. It was a very hard thing to do as I was afraid of losing her. But this was the only thing that she did not know about me, and I could not keep this hidden from her. It was very hard on her, and although I had many printouts from the internet ready for her to read, I felt that I had burdened her with a secret that we must keep private due to society's prejudices. However, over time she came to understand and worked past the common myths of crossdressing. Not only does she now accept it, she actively participates in it and helped me be a better female when I dressed. The girls kept up with it, saying that I would look pretty in a nice business suit with hose, heels, and a purse. Heather told everyone, the week after Thanksgiving the office is shut down for computer updates, inventory, and updating the safety programs. We could pick a day for Dave to be one of the girls. Besides, maybe if Dave dresses for a day, he will not be after me to wear a skirt for him as much. Let him see life from the other side. My face dropped. I could not believe that she would make such an offer. When they saw my face drop, they took it as I was aghast about the offer and immediately pounced. All I heard was that it would be great for the office morale, a learning experience for me and fun for everyone. I just kept balking while secretly wishing it to come true. I finally spoke up. I could do it, but I do not see the point. Lisa jumped in and said, "What, afraid to improve office morale? I do not think you could do it." Charlene said, "I don't know, I think you would look pretty as one of the office girls." I kept begging off. Cindy chimed in, "You always say everyone should be cross-trained in the office. What a better way to cross-train you can think of?" Heather kept saying that it would be good for me. "I tell you what, if you do this, I have enough time to run you through a women's boot camp before my public debut. I can teach you how to sit, walk in heels, act, and apply my makeup. I would have so much fun with you." "What's in it for me?" I asked. Lisa said you will improve office spirit, and if you do it, we will all chip in and treat you and Heather to a night out. We will take you to eat and to a club. I slowly let my resolve down and asked what the ground rules would be. They all had big smiles cross their faces. Charlene said simple. Just spend a day working at the office as any other women. Same expectations, that meant clothing and demeanor. I had to try my best to be the best woman that I could. I would not be allowed to do it as a joke, and they would help me in any way they could. We will give you some leeway, but the better you do, the fancier the restaurant we will take you to. It could be anywhere from a snack bar to a 5-star restaurant. Heather looked at me and said, "Go for it. We will do it the Monday of the office shutdown." I agreed to it as long as everyone promised not to let anyone else know. Everyone agreed. After some conversation of we cannot wait till the big week, we were back to work. Heather left and went back to work with a huge smile on her face. Just before we were going to leave work for the day, Heather popped in again. She called everyone over and opened the sack to reveal a shoebox. From the box she removed a black pair of 3-inch high heel pumps, with a slim heel in my size. I am going to have him practice in them to be ready for his workday debut. I am going to do everything possible to make sure we win the 5-star restaurant bet. I will teach him to always sit with his knees together, to smooth his skirt when he sits, and how to walk and act like a lady. I looked over at her and said thanks. Inside I was so excited, as I knew Heather was setting things up so I could act like any other women and no one would say anything or suspect anything. When I got home, Heather took my hands into hers, looked me in the eyes, and told me that I should not worry, just enjoy my fantasy of being able to go to work as a woman. All the girls knew that I was talked into it, and that she said that she would do everything she could to win the bet. All I had to say was that Heather talked me into it. Heather also said that you know that starting the Friday before the bet, when you get home from work, we are going to change you into Leah. You will be dressed all weekend. That way when Monday came, it would be my 3rd complete day as Leah. Of course I did not argue. Why would I want to? I also want you to wear your new pumps at night to break them in and scuff them up on the bottoms so the girls at the office will think you have practiced walking in them when they see you. The week before the bet, the girls would ask me how my boot camp is going. I would just say I am progressing nicely, and they will be surprised. They kept asking what I was going to wear, and reminded me that I had to go through what they did. Friday finally arrived. Heather stopped in for lunch, and I was the topic of the conversation. Lisa, Cindy, and Charlene asked if I was going to back out. Not with all the work I have and will put into this. He has practiced his deportment while partially dressed, and this weekend we will finish up the A to Z boot camp on being a woman. Heather continued that we may have a dress rehearsal on Saturday. Don't worry. I can't back out after all the work Heather has gone through. Besides, I think you will be surprised. Oh, by the way, start saving your money for the finest steak in town. What will you be wearing? Asked Lisa. Whatever strikes my fancy, they all laughed. Friday when I got home, Heather told me to go shower and we would start my transformation for Monday as just one of the women at the office. When I went into the bathroom, there was a note to take a scented bath and that the clothing that I was to change into was on the counter. As I ran the warm water and scented the bath with a lavender vanilla scent, my heart began racing. I was going to be able to go to work as a woman on Monday and for 2 days prior to that. Once the tub was filled up, I stepped in and just relaxed. I allowed the warm water and vanilla scent to caress my body and just relax me. With a knock on the door and the statement from Heather to get a move on, I got out of the bath and toweled off. I then slipped on the panties and silk robe that were laid out for me. I walked into the bedroom and attached my breast forms with medical adhesive. Once they were in place, I put on a matching bra, put on a denim blouse, back zip knee-length khaki skirt and brown 1 foot 2 inches strappy wedge shoes, and went out into the living room. Heather sat me down, held my hands, and told me how things would work. She told me to trust her on this. No one would know it was not her insistence that she would be with me on the whole way on this. She also said that for the next 3 days I should just enjoy. We went out to the kitchen and made supper. After dinner and doing dishes, we put Sleepless in Seattle in the DVD player, grabbed a glass of wine and then spent some girl time together. We put on my working length nails. We both painted our finger and toe nails in a matching color of pure red. We did facials together and just had a nice relaxing night, except for when Heather plucked and thinned my eyebrows. The pain of beauty. Heather knows that when dressed that I wish to experience life as a woman, and she insists that if I temporarily change gender that I experience as much as I can. No cheating, no shortcuts. She also knows that after I am dressed for a while I experience the emotional changes that come with the dressing. I tend to relax a little more, appreciate what I have, and feel things more. Heather reinforces my more feminine role by taking charge. In bed I sleep on the side she wants me on, which is opposite of where I usually sleep. I lose control of the remote, and take on more of the domestic duties. While she may not always understand all this, she tries her best to treat me as her girlfriend. She knows how important it is to me to be the best woman I can. I never want anyone to think that I am doing anything to bring disrespect to women. Before I know it is time for bed. After cleaning and moisturizing I put on a sleeping bra and slip into a silky purple pajama set. As I climb into bed, I enjoy the feeling of the breast and silky pajamas, and the sight of my painted nails. Saturday morning. Waking up Saturday morning, a huge smile comes across my face. It is always a great way to start the day, feeling the softness of the pajamas on my smooth body, seeing the outline of my breast under the pajama top, and then taking a deep breath just to see them move, knowing that they are a part of me. I look over at Heather and smile at the sight of our matching nails and knowing how much she loves me. I stay still in bed so as to not wake her, and my mind wanders. I am so excited for Monday but nervous. Why accepting the bet in the heat of the moment seemed ideal, as the realization of what I was going to do was striking home. Hiding in the house within my walls is my comfort zone. I can control what happens when I am dressed, but in the real world I will not have that comfort zone. While I have always wanted to go out into the working world and think, I will need a push to get out of the house. Heather is still sleeping, so I slip out of bed and head to the closet. I decide what I am going to wear for the day. It is nice going through my dresses, skirts, pants and tops to decide what I feel like wearing. After deciding, I put my bra based upon the color of my blouse, just one of those things we know to do, but guys have no idea. I jump into the shower and let the warm water run over me. As I shower, I once again start to become nervous about Monday. Rather than let my mind get the best of me, I decide to think about the things that I do as any other woman. Things they take for granted but are immeasurable for a crossdresser. I take a deep breath and inhale the aroma of the cherry blossom shampoo and matching body scrub. Instead of using a washcloth, I use my body sponge. I feel the water gliding off of my shaved body, the weight of my breast on my chest without a bra, and see my matching painted nails. I get out of the shower and pat down with the towel and moisturize. I then start to dress. As I put on my buff-colored bra, I think about how nice it is to have the breast attached. They are such a visible sign of being a woman. I enjoy putting on the bra, the way they move when I walk, the weight of them, having to work around them, and how they become a part of me. I use my women's antiperspirant and relish the thought of everything I use only being for us women. I get to rid myself of anything related to the male gender and surround myself in the feminine. Scents are a big part of that. Since I am going to have 3 days dressed, and today was a work day, I had decided to wear a simple jean skirt with a peasant top. The skirt is a knee-length back zipper skirt with a brown belt. The top is a short-sleeved blouse, white with a ruffled neckline and keyhole ties in front. The buff-colored bra would not show through the blouse. I had matching panties and put on taupe hose. Since we were doing housework, I slip on a black 1-inch heel loafers. Then on with the makeup, some jewelry, and a little perfume. When I go back into the bedroom, Heather is awake. "Good morning, girlfriend," she says, "you look nice." After thanking her for the compliment, I tell her that I will have coffee ready for her after her shower. She heads to the shower and I go to the kitchen. I start the coffee and begin making us breakfast. I smile as I picture myself as the woman of the house. We spend the day cleaning. With cooking breakfast and cleaning, I am slowly getting used to the nails. Just after lunch, Heather told me there are some items on the bed for me. I went to the bedroom and saw a package of feminine hygiene products. If I am dressed when Heather is having her period, I must also wear pads and change them regularly. This was at Heather's insistence. It all started one day when I was home dressed while she was shopping. She was purchasing the pads for herself when she remembered one of our conversations. I had told her that when I dress, I want to experience life as much as I can as a woman. The irony of it is that I could never reach that goal. I only stay in the house and will not experience how people treat women in different situations. Besides Heather, I could not socialize with other women and have that bonding. I loved knowing and experiencing things only women know. In my mind, I was part of the sisterhood. Knowing the feel of hose on shaved legs, the feeling of being able to take those same hose off at night, the routine of having to take your makeup off at night, wash and moisturize. The feel of heels and the joy of taking them off. I loved experiencing those things as I felt closer to other women. So remembering that she came home one day and said, "I picked you something up." Usually that is hose or makeup. This time she completely surprised me. She showed them to me, explained that I was going to start using them and to enjoy being a woman. After our chores were done, we made a salad for supper, cleared the table, and started a jigsaw puzzle. Besides keeping my mind calm, it was a good way to get used to the nails. Before I knew it, the evening had passed and it was time for bed. Sunday morning, I woke to the alarm blaring. I had to get up early and get ready for church. If I do not dress, we go to our church every Sunday. When I am dressed, Heather insists that I dress up as if we were. I go through the closet searching for a knee-length dress that will be proper for church. I settle on a rose bloom color sheath dress. It has front and back princess seams, front darts, empire waist, and a back zipper. Once again, it is into the shower using the scented bath soap and shampoo. After a shower and putting on my undergarments, I wake Heather up for her turn in the shower. While she is showering, I do my makeup and put my wig on. Heather finishes her shower and stands next to me at our double sink. She just is starting her makeup while I double-check mine. What a neat moment to share with the woman I love, my mentor, my girlfriend, my wife. I step into my dress and Heather tells me to turn around, she will zip me up. What a wonderful sound, the sound of my dress being zipped. I put on silver necklace with a cross on it, silver earrings, my women's watch, and a bracelet. I slip into a rose-colored pair of 2-inch pumps. I go to start the coffee for us and we have a cup before the television church show we watch comes on. Just before the show starts, I check my lipstick to replace what was left on the coffee cup. We pull up 2 wooden dining room chairs in front of the TV and watch our show. We use those chairs instead of the couch as they feel more like church pews. After the show is over, Heather tells me I am going to go pick up a few items, then get our lunch and come back home. You are not allowed to change until after our lunch. After lunch, I change out of my church dress into a plaid above the knee back zip skirt, white top and brown sandals with a 2-inch platform heel with buckles. We work on the jigsaw puzzle some more and do anything to take my mind off the anticipation of Monday. In the evening, we watch Mamma Mia and have a glass of wine and redo our nails. Sunday night, I remove my makeup, moisturize, and climb into bed. I am reminded to set the alarm earlier than usual as we have a lot of things to do in the morning before work. As I lie down in bed, I cannot sleep and watch as the clock slowly marches forward. Monday morning, I awoke very early with a flood of emotions. I was experiencing everything from the excitement of going out for the first time to the fear of how the girls would react. Heather rolled over in bed next to me. "I thought you may have trouble sleeping and get up early. For your first day in the working world, I have a few surprises for you." I got up and headed to the shower. Using the vanilla-scented soap and a loofah, I washed and shaved all over. I want to smell pretty, be nice and smooth. After I got out of the shower, I noticed a new matching bra and panty set had been left out for me. The bra was a full coverage back hook pink bra with lace trim. The panties are high cut in the same color. I put them on and adjust the straps on the bra for a comfortable fit. Then I slipped on a robe on and let Heather know that I was ready for my makeup. She was doing it today, as I always looked better when she applies my makeup. And when I know my makeup looks good, I always feel better about myself and more confident. Heather busied herself and in no time had made me pretty, or as pretty as I could get. As Heather put on my makeup, I let my mind go off of my nervousness and let my senses take over. I can smell the scent of the bath wash, feel the makeup going on. Taking a deep breath, I feel the rise and fall of the attached breast. Heather then told me she had made some modifications to my cash and go get it on, and she would help hook me in. She told me she changed the straps so they should be more comfortable. Once I was properly inserted into it, she hooked the back up for me. I thought I heard a small sliding noise but attributed it to the new straps she put on it. Heather then had me close my eyes and took me into the bedroom. She said she had a brand new outfit for me to wear. When she let me open my eyes, my mouth dropped open. She was holding up a three-piece suit. She had a dark red satin V-neck blouse and a brown suit. The pencil skirt, with back zip and walking slit, looked like it would skim the top of my knees. The jacket had 3 buttons. It was gorgeous. I thanked her so much for the new outfit and gave her a hug, making sure we did not mess each other's makeup. I sat on the bed, put on my taupe control top pantyhose, made sure they were positioned properly, and making sure my nails did not put a run in them. Next, I slid up an ivory half-slip with lace trim on. It felt wonderful as it brushed up against my shaved, nylon-clad legs. Then I slipped the blouse on and buttoned it up. I smiled as I was buttoning the blouse up, seeing my red nails as I was getting ready for the day. I stepped into the skirt, positioned it, and zipped it up. I walked to the mirror, reached up under the skirt, and adjusted the blouse. I let the skirt fall back into place and checked to make sure my slip was not showing and the zipper of the skirt was centered in the middle. All these steps to dressing were so wonderful, knowing that I was going to be able to go to work. I went to the mirror and placed my wig on and combed it out. Then I put on clip earrings, my women's wedding ring, necklace, and a bracelet on each wrist. I finished off by spraying my wrist and neck with perfume. Then I put on the suit jacket and buttoned it up. I just stood there taking it all in. The feeling of getting dressed for work, the aroma of my perfume, and seeing a feminine me. The most powerful feeling was the love that I have for Heather. It was getting time to leave for work, so I slipped my 3-inch beige pumps. I grabbed a coat that we had purchased, started walking to get into the car to go to work. Heather stopped me and asked, "Are you forgetting something?" I could not think of anything, and she mentioned that I had left my purse on the end table. I went and looked and found that Heather had set a purse out for me. It was black with several compartments and a strap to go over the shoulder. I opened it up and looked inside. She had placed a hairbrush, lipstick, blush, eyeshadow, a small change purse, perfume, and a pen and writing pad inside. As we began walking to the car, it hit me. I was so nervous. Heather said that she was going to drive. While I always drive, I knew better than to argue. I opened the car door, remembering to sit first, while smoothing the bottom of my skirt, with both legs outside the car, and then swing my legs in to avoid having the skirt right up high when I sat down and showing more than I wished to. I sit down and pulled down my skirt. I then place my purse on the floor and buckled up. It is so wonderful to be in the car knowing that I am getting to live life as a woman. I see my painted nails as I put my seatbelt on. The outline of the seatbelt on my body and seeing my shaved legs appearing from beneath my skirt is great. Heather backed out and we started off to work. I cannot describe how wonderful it felt, but how nerve-wracking it was. She pulled into a gas station on the way to work and parked around the side of the building. I balked, but she said it will all be fine. It was still dark and she parked away from the store entrance. She looked me in the eyes, told me to trust her and to just feel it. She then told me to think about my situation. I was like any other woman. My breasts are attached to me and I could not remove them as she had the medical glue remover locked up and that she had locked me into my cash sew with an electrical zip tie, so I was unable to remove it. She said, I know you would not take it off, but just think about this. You have changed sides and are just like any other female. Think about that and enjoy the thought that you are just one of the girls. You cannot change your anatomy or who you are inside, she told, to enjoy my womanhood. When she went and I ran through my mind how I was just like any woman going to work. With this being my third day dressed, I was feeling feminine and I just took everything in. When Heather came back out, she had 2 cups of coffee. We usually split one, but she said that she thought I would enjoy seeing my lipstick on the coffee cup while going to my first day of work. We were the first to arrive at the office and she parked at the farthest spot from the front door. When I asked if she could park any farther away, she said no and that I should experience the cold weather on my exposed legs. I opened the car door, swung both legs out of the car, stood up and walked to the office for my first day as a businesswoman. The cool morning air on my hose-covered legs and the clicking of heels in a parking lot were exhilarating and comforting, although chilly. When we arrived at the door and I was able to dig through my purse for the front door's keys. We went into the office and I hung my coat up in my office. Heather said it would be nice to make coffee for the others, so off I went to make the morning coffee. When I went back to my office, I noticed that Heather had placed a nameplate over my regular name with Leah's name. She just smiled as she said, I have you covered. Heather told me that this day was for me and that I should enjoy it. We heard another car pull up and Heather told me to go in my office and shut the door. When I was in the office, I heard that Lisa was the first to arrive. Heather greeted her at the door and let her in. Lisa asked if I had chickened out and Heather said that I was in the office waiting for everyone to show up for my debut. Once everyone arrived and the front door was locked, Heather gave a small speech to the girls. She told them that she had run me through her women's 101, 102, and advanced classes. I had learned how to walk, sit and move. I knew the terminology to different makeup and clothing. She also said that while I sometimes was a reluctant student, she was proud of me. She told them that I would fit right in as a proper lady, although I was the only one dressed to the nines that day. With that, she introduced me and out I walked. When I walked out, everything was silent and I began to panic. They all were staring and not saying anything. After what seemed like forever, they began talking and I began breathing again. They said I looked cute, pretty and very ladylike. They asked about all what I wearing. I told them everything any other women would, including proper undergarments. Heather left and we finally got down to work and we did not stop till break time. When we sat down for coffee, they had all sorts of questions. How it felt, was I getting used to the clothing and was I enjoying it? I told them with the boot camp Heather ran me through that I was used to the clothing and it was a fun experiment. I told them the nails seemed to be the hardest thing to get adjusted to. I said I had to use the restroom and excused myself. I was told to make sure that I sat and to use the women's restroom. Little did they know that I had no desire to stand, nor could I. It felt wonderful for the first time to use the women's bathroom. To be able to use the facilities that represented how I was dressed, who I was, made me feel more complete. Even though it takes longer, it was great. To be able to be like any other woman was exhilarating. Many people would just wonder about why I enjoyed even that part of it. The reason is simple, because that is what women do. So, to be able to deal with sitting while dealing with the panties, hose and skirt is enjoyable, as it reinforces my feminine side. After I was done, I checked my makeup and made sure my clothing was adjusted properly and went back out. When I stepped out, the girls laughed and asked what took so long. I chuckled and said women's clothing must have been invented by men. Before long, it was lunchtime. Heather stopped back in to join us and asked how the new office girl was. Everyone chimed in that I was doing very well and they were going to have a bet to pay off. Lunch was salad for me, as Heather said I need to watch what I eat to keep my figure. We just chatted about the holidays, Christmas presents and odds and ends. Then all too soon it was back to work. The afternoon flew by and it struck me that I had been dressed so long that I did not feel like a man in a dress but felt like Leah, my feminine side. I felt natural, complete. The day ran down and Heather came back to see how I did and to take me home. The girls told her I did great and that they lost the bet. They went on to say that one day was not a true test, as it was only 8 hours. If I wanted to really know how it is, I should have to do it all week. I balked and said they were just sore losers. They said no, that one day was not a fair representation. They went on and said they would up the stakes to include a nice dinner and a monetary donation to the charity of our choice. Heather said it is a bet, and I spoke up. I was told to hush, that she was closing a deal. Before I knew it, I was scheduled to work as Leah for a week. Counting the weekend, that would give me 7 days as a woman. I was standing there in shock when they all started saying that they could not wait. Heather told me to wait in the office and she would run to the consignment shop and outfit me for the week. Once we got home, I changed into a sweater and some khaki pants. Heather said we have some work to do prior to us making supper. She went and got some plastic storage boxes from the garage and said since there were no longer any men in the house, we should pack up all the men's clothing that had been left behind. Once we had everything boxed up, she put it in an outside storage shed. Heather locked it up and we placed all Lee's clothing in my drawers. The full impact hit me. I had no male clothing, no medical glue remover for the breast, and I am locked in my cache. I was unable to change back. While that was exciting to only see female clothing, it was scary as I was stuck until the end of the week as a woman. My dream coming true, but it was also scary as I could not change back when I wanted to. I did not have control. I could not even look at my male clothing for comfort. Heather looked at me and said that she controlled when I could change back, and it may not be until a week from today or a total of 9 days. My mind was swimming. Heather was grinning and said you should have been careful and of what you wished for. You are going to know very well what it means to be a woman when I am done with you. We made supper, talked, watched TV and kept my mind off the upcoming week. At bedtime it felt nice going through the rituals of removing the makeup, putting moisturizer on and the other thing that we women do. My mind raced with what the week may bring.